Welcome to America Rising Media, where it is our mission to spread truth, expose evil, and effect as much positive change and unity as possible. We encourage open dialogue, so join us in the chat and share your thoughts. Please note that the views and opinions expressed by guests and audience members are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of America Rising Media. We encourage you to critically evaluate all perspectives presented during our broadcasts. We appreciate your understanding and support, and thank you for being part of our community.
He leans in close, then he cuts to the chase. A raised eyebrow hit right across his face. One says yes, one says no in a flash. He turns the heat up like he wants it to clash. A finger in the air and the debate goes wild. Every argument sharp, every answer style. He laughs, he swings, then he hands up the mic. The whole room buzzes like a match in the night. Hands up, here we go again. Talk real loud, let the chaos begin. Side to side and the truth gets loud. Spin City calls it out. Right there in the crowd. The panelists on America. Hey, Rising Media. The panelists on America. Woo. Rising Media. Spin City, spin it hard. Yelling at everyone. Spin City, spin it hard. Nobody leaves untouched.
Good afternoon, good evening, America Rising Media, and we are live currently over on SPINCITYNEWS, the Benjamin Balderson channel, X, pilled.net on America Rising Media. I am the panelist and our esteemed co-host, Mr. Brick Petitions, here with us tonight. Brick, how is things going in your side of the world tonight, sir?
I can't complain too much. I mean, of course I can complain.
Well, I think we all can complain about something, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I have this topic tonight, and for some reason it just boggles my brain for a second. We were on a panel last night, you and I, and we had several people up there, and obviously the left is tyrannical when it comes to topics like this. And I had a very good conversation with a very good friend of ours, and we know Mr. Benjamin Balderson and his wife Christy. We had a conversation about this, and the thing that got me a little bit, it was about the raising of the Palestinian flag in front of a mayor's office in Paterson, New Jersey. And I'm going to tell you, I want to say, Brick, this is why it made me so angry. I'm a nationalist. I am a patriot, and I'm a realist. My question is, why in the hell do we need the Palestinian flag raised in front of a U.S. town? Okay, I get the argument. I get the argument that they want their heritage. But, you and I did a little bit of research before we come on here, didn't we?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, like you said, I get the argument too. Heritage and all of that. But there are rules, there are laws. And of course I don't have to be happy with certain laws. If I want certain laws changed, or certain rules changed, it is my understanding that this is America and those things can be changed. But there's a deeper morality to it, right? And so
Yes.
if there's a deeper morality or understanding or reasoning behind what they're doing versus what we want in this country, and those things need to be brought to the table, and it's not just sweep it under the rug.
Well, and the little bit of digging that we did was very, very shocking. I mean, we're going to get into that, but we do have an esteemed guest coming up here tonight, Mr. Trippycast. Mr. Trippycast, how are you this evening?
I am on mute. There we go. I got myself all set up. I'm doing all right. I just came back actually from the store, so we're cool.
Oh, it's okay. We know, late, fashionably late, but you know what? You're here, and that's all that matters.
I have a dark pack.
we have Andrew James Barnes up on the screen. He is going to be contributing to the show tonight. And of course, our classy and fabulous friend, Classy Kevin, on the screen. Good evening, everybody. We are live again on all major platforms and, of course, SPINCITYNEWS.com and a bunch of other places that I've already mentioned, and it's a dead horse. Anyway, moving on. We all know what the topic is, right? We all know that there's a reason we're talking about this. And I'm going to give you another little thought that I've had. It all goes down to the protests that are going on. And I'm going to allude to the Free Palestine movement. And then they have this Palestinian Day, but it's really not Palestinian Day, is it, Brick?
Well, I mean, there's the country of origin, but then there's also the belief systems behind countries, right? So, 1942 Germany had a flag. 1942 Germany had a nation. 1942 Germany had an ideology. So, no, it's not just a nation. It's not just a country.
Listen, I have said many times, very many times, I am okay with legal immigration. I have no problems with people coming here from other countries. My problem is, why are you not assimilating to the country that you came to? And I'm going to show a picture. And this one really, this picture, excuse me while I get it up on the screen. We found this picture. Brick, did I find it or did you find it?
I believe you found it, sir.
That's right. I did, didn't I? Absolutely.
Yeah, if I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. This one really irritates me to the point of nausea. I want to show this picture up here. Oops. Take that down. There we go.
There.
Oh, I promise it'll be there. What do you think about that? This is in Paterson, New Jersey. The gentleman on the left is the mayor of Paterson, New Jersey. And these are his constituents, all of them. So they changed their street name. And then on top of that, and please forgive the unprofessionalism here, then they did this.
I say send in Tom Holman.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, Trippy. Then they did this.
Little Palestine.
I have a question.
Ask your questions, please.
How is this any different than Chinatown or any of those areas which have and I'm doing the devil's advocate thing.
And that's fine.
How is this any different?
So I'm going to answer that really quickly. Chinatown, there's a Chinatown almost in every major city, right? There's a little Italy in most every town. But they don't change the complete name of the town to this. And I just brought up For the Win. For the Win, good afternoon, good evening, sir, wherever you might be in this great country we call the United States.
Ooh. Hey, Spin. Hey, gentlemen. Nice to see you guys.
Hey, For the Win.
Hello.
What's happening, Kevin?
Yeah, I just noticed something For the Win. I just noticed that the mosque is much bigger than the church.
There you go. This is what I'm saying. This is the signs when you go into Paterson, New Jersey. These are the signs that you see. Notice something missing on this. The
What's this right here?
What's this right here?
A flag. Oh, there's no American flag. That's a Palestinian flag.
Yeah, hold on. I got another picture for you.
Oh,
that'll piss you off.
Something. Okay.
Ooh, this looks like Dearborn. It does.
Looks like parts of Minneapolis.
I want you to look at this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Flag.
Is this a one? Now, is this a one-day-a-year event, or is this?
No, this is done. This is all year round.
Oh, that's that needs to be addressed.
It sounds like they're dubbing Paterson Little Palestine is what it is.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
That's exactly what they're doing. No, For the Win. Before you came in, let me show you this picture again.
Welcome to Little Palestine. I said Paddlestein. Damn. I'm sorry.
From Paterson to Jerusalem. 5,692 miles.
Which I'm sure if you plug into a number thingy.
And then yesterday, as we know from the panel, well, most of us know, that I got a little bit heated about this. I did. I got a little bit heated because they raised the Palestinian flag in front of a mayor's office, which is not unheard of. I'm okay with that. But when it is at the same height or higher than the United States flag and our resident constitutionalist, what is the rules on flag decorum or flag etiquette?
So I can tell you. Essentially, like if you're raising it on a separate pole, they can be at the same height. If you're raising it on the same pole, it would be the American flag at the top. Of course, if you're going to have the poles at the same height, they need to be structured appropriately. Right. In other words, they need to be side by side. They can't be like a mile apart or something, and then you say that that's essentially, the same.
And the foreign flag cannot be on the right, and the U.S. should always be at center.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here's another. Code. Yeah, it's called flag code. Here's another one. How about that?
See,
that should be illegal.
that is illegal. That's 100% illegal. It's paraphernalia. That officer should not have that flag on his lapel. No flag other than an American flag should ever be on any officer's lapel or anywhere on his person. Period. Like at that point it becomes paraphernalia, but in common tongue we call it a gang sign.
Huh. So it's not like flair that you would wear on your outfit at Fridays.
No.
Yeah, right, Trippy. Right.
Because displaying a flag is a shorthand for demonstrating support or allegiance. That would be cross allegiance. That's why it should be illegal.
And you know, I didn't get a chance to say I didn't get a chance to say this last night. And you know, I wore the uniform for 26 years. And every time the American flag patch was on my right arm.
In that picture, there was a U.S. flag on that right patch.
Yes,
on that arm. Yes,
it was. There was. However, on any police uniform, ballistic style vest, or anything, it either says one of two things, or either has one of two things: police or an American flag.
Yeah. Not every country that you've ever seen before all over your vest.
Sure. I have not ever been out of the United States of America or out of this country, but I've seen videos of the RCMP. They have the Canadian flag.
Yeah.
Other countries of videos and different stuff that I watch. When you see police or policía, or how do they say it in Spanish? Kevin,
policia. Well, that's migration. That's the immigration. It's policia. But polizei. Now that's my German favorite right there.
Sure.
Okay.
And here's my point. There is never not two different countries' flags on their uniform. I mean, I've never seen it until
you wouldn't have cross. You might have subordinate allegiance, like there could be a national and then a local, like a state or something like that, but you wouldn't have another country's.
Sure. And that is what I'm so uptight about.
Well, yeah. So can I, because here's the thing.
Please.
You're an American citizen or, an American national, American citizen. If you want to live in Palestine, I'm not saying go back. I'm saying if you want to live there, if you want that to be your nation of origin, it's no problem. There's no problem with that. But that means that you are a Palestinian citizen. You're not a U.S. citizen. Okay.
Yeah. Which one do you have allegiance towards? Like you got two different flags, but who's number one on your allegiance list?
I have no problem.
Say what this really is.
You can choose any look, and this is America too, which means that you really do have a lot of choices. You do have that choice to not be a U.S. citizen, and like,
hey, you can become the citizen of another country.
Yeah.
Was Tina Turner did that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
I want to drop the pretense that I have tolerance for this activity right now. I have been in Saudi Arabia. I have lived for a year in an Islamic situation. I understand it's more than a religion. I understand it's a form of government. I don't want to pretend that I don't know what this is. This is a jihad. This is trying to conquer the Western cultures. I am not being hyperbolic. I'm not being a drama queen or anything to that degree. I have eyes. I have traveled. I just recently got done traveling, and I've traveled before annually, except for that one period during 2020, 2021, where we were all like locked down and shit. However, I'm not going to pretend that this isn't exactly what it is. It's a freaking takeover of Western culture by Islam.
Well, I want to kind of state something and comment to that as well. If the flag was propped up by someone individually, no problem. Really no problem. I don't really care about that. That's no biggie for me at all. Right? An individual, a citizen expressing their beliefs, but understand what this really is. So it's called the home rule. It's kind of like states' rights. Cities, counties have what's called the home rule. The courts have ruled that they are allowed, quote unquote, governmental speech. It's the same idea behind states' rights. Okay. So what that means is for that city's identity, they get to express, this is our identity. This is who we are. Like, okay, no problem. No problem. Like, I understand the argument, but if your identity for your city, your county, your state is another country's identity, now we're starting to see some real problems because you can't claim that you are a state of the United States or a city within the United States, but you're a city of that other country or a state of that other country. You've got to choose one or the other.
And when we came here from our other countries, wherever our ethnicity or genes originated, the people came here and adopted the laws of this country. That's not how the imams want to operate. That's not how the clerics want to operate. Sharia supplants US law in their mind. So yes, it would be fine if they just came here and if they did what they did with their culture and everything was just like any other culture where you melt on in and you've still got your cultural nuances which can still be held on to. That's not the case here. That's not the case here. They want to bring Sharia here. And let me think about this for just a moment. Would I want people to lose their body parts for theft? It might be a great deterrent. Am I on board with Sharia as a whole? No. Do they have good points to their laws? Absolutely. Do I want to see kids running around getting married off? No.
Right.
Would I like to see a little bit more modesty? It would be nice. And at the same time, I sowed my wild oats in my day. And thankfully, I wasn't like killed for what I did. It's not quite like that in Islam.
Right.
It's like you can't do that kind of stuff. And I have to watch my words too. You might have honor incidents. How about that?
There you go.
You might have some honor incidents. How about this? How about freaking I wouldn't want my sister being part of a freaking what would be considered a polyamorous relationship with a dude who is currently housing up. It's like, I know that some people have their whole situations that they agree to. However, under Islam, it's not exactly a two-way street agreement on these deals.
Well, I don't know how we don't run afoul of the Establishment Clause. If we're not able to have the support of these, Christian, Judeo-Christian or whatever, how would the Sharia and other cultural aspects there not run afoul of the Establishment Clause?
Well, would that be like policing the police of the policing of everybody?
Well, the city powers are derivative from the state, and the state's empowerment is derivative from the republic. I mean, the states are supposed to be more independent than they've been. Okay. But when we see the police person who's there with dual flags on, they are communicating that they are not under the jurisdiction of the Constitution that guides that city.
Well,
And
well, here, let me just say one thing, Kevin, and then I'll hand it to you. Andrew, and I almost called you're the other thing I called you salty. I apologize. You know, wouldn't you ought to think that if an American got stopped by that officer, they are going to be more stringent than to one of their own, I hate to use this term, comrades?
I could see how there would be favoritism because they're genuinely putting it on display. And the uniting thing about the U.S. culture, sure, we have a lot of stuff we need to grow in, but that singular emblem of the flag is the guarantee, or at least shorthand for the guarantees that we have under the Bill of Rights and other things in the Constitution. I don't know what that other flag guarantees. So yes, I would be concerned about what my rights are under that stop.
And just to synopsize that a little bit, would you? Well, you know what, Kevin, I'm going to go to you because you do have a thought, and then I'm going to make another statement, and I'm sure everybody will understand why I'm making the statement. So go ahead, Kevin.
Well, the thought I had previously has escaped my mind. I refocused in on the concept of being stopped by what I imagine is a Sharia police. Is that what the scenario was, the most recent scenario?
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was Sharia police. I think it was. Brick, help me managing 30 other things, and I apologize.
Okay. By who? I think it's like when you're talking about getting stopped by a police officer who may be wearing another flag from another country's.
Yes. I apologize.
Okay. Yep. Okay. With that one, I don't know. It would probably be a case by case. Can't be guaranteed of any kind of reaction whatsoever. And I do remember what I was going to say. Currently, we have the socialists and the communists who are currently trying to overthrow capitalism throughout the Western culture, through Europe and the United States, and at the same time, Islam is piggybacking off of the causes of our radical leftist factions within not only our country, but again, in Western culture beyond the United States into Europe. The problem is that in their drive, while brotherhooding, what have you? Yes, fellowshipping. Thank you. Fellowshipping with the Islamists, I don't think they seem to get it, that when they are done with their socialist commie takeover, if that's what they think that they're going to get away with, the Islamists are going to remove the people who help them get into power. Because they are dogs to them. It's like there is a class system which they do not want to talk about. And the class system exists. There is a whole dogma to their belief system, which when it is brought up, they want to not explain it or to clarify it or to justify it. They don't want us talking about it. There's a whole reality to this culture, and they don't want to talk about it. They want to say, oh, you're Islamophobic, or you're being a bigot, or you're being a racist, to shut down the conversation. And then we've got politicians within our country who support that, who absolutely facilitate this, and those people need to be addressed. And I can't quite articulate how that should be addressed because I don't know which platforms we're on right now.
Like
I'll leave it
Mamdani?
to your imagination.
Well,
You're not
have to-
Mamdani in New York.
Yeah, I think those people. I think the New Yorkers are going to end up coming to terms with that decision.
I know. I agree.
I think that they were not as much college education as or university training as they claim to have. Congratulations, you specialized in an area, or maybe a handful of areas. However, you didn't go to the country of origin, and you didn't live it.
Right.
So, congrats.
Well, you know, it goes back to what I was going to say here. You know, I have physical disabilities, right? And I gave this example last night. I said, if I needed some sort of specialized service in Paterson, New Jersey, and that is I had to live there in Paterson, New Jersey, would I have to assimilate to their customs to potentially get the services from those individuals, and or to be able to get along with those individuals? I mean, of course, I'm going to have to adjust in some sort of fashion, right? I think, look, when I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, holy shit, it was a culture shock because everything was different. But would one ought not to think that you wouldn't have to assimilate to their customary rules? Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I've lived abroad as well. I've lived for about a year in China and a similar amount of time in Singapore. And I can tell you how, no matter how polite it was very clear that I wasn't in Kansas. If I had been wearing any of these flags or trying to express anything like these images that we see, I would have been reeled in. It would have been instantaneous, and it would have been severe.
Well, and here's the thing that really bugs me the most. They're on American soil. You came here for a better life. Assimilate to our culture and our ways of life. Don't bring, I know, Kevin, I know, I'll give you the floor. You came to America for a better life. You went to our colleges. You went to, and I know you're going to disagree, Andrew, but let me land the plane. You came to a different culture because you couldn't stand, or there was something going on in your government that you just could not survive or be there. You came here and you want to bring your entire life and, in my opinion, take over a town. And we saw the signs. I will more than happy, or Brick can bring them back up. We can show you concrete proof of what they're doing. And now, Brick, if you don't mind, on your other screen, can you get me a populace of Paterson, New Jersey?
And if I may spin here.
Sure, absolutely. Then
we're
going to go to Andrew and then Kevin.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking up, well, how did Paterson become kind of Paterson? And it kind of like breaks it up into three sects of time period, where they're saying late 1800s, early 1900s. It was already an immigrant hub full of Italians, Irish, and Arab immigrants, mostly from what was then the greater Syria, modern day Lebanon, Syria, Palestine began arriving at that point. Then after World War II, 1948 and 1967 with the 6-Day War, more Palestinians emigrated into this area. By the 50s and the 60s, Arab-owned businesses and family networks were forming in South Paterson. So then this quote unquote little Palestine emerged in the 1980s to 2000, where the chain migration happened, where family was bringing family from there to here and such like that. So to me, this is kind of looking like this is something that's been done after the last 40 years, 40, 50 years, let's just call it realistically. And
Right.
it wasn't like it just happened in the last 20 years.
Damn,
For
just
example,
like Dearborn.
like what we're witnessing with other things. But at the same time, there's a city in New York, Kiryas Joel. It's predominantly Jewish, and they have a Jewish everything. There's a community built around their culture and stuff like that. So this isn't just like the first time an ethnic group came and created their own little city, if you will.
Well,
It's happening quite a bit.
go
It's
ahead.
just,
Tricky. What did you say?
Oh, I was going to say it's happened quite a bit where, groups take over certain areas, especially the U.S., because we're the best country on earth, And
Right.
it's like I said, just like Dearborn. Dearborn's a similar time frame for them to become so, like Middle Eastern. It looks like a Middle Eastern town when you drive through Dearborn. All the shop signs are in, whatever language. They like I was amazed. I saw a suit shop, and I couldn't read the damn billboard thing on it, but they sure had the suits with like the gold leaf, the different patterning.
Andrew, go ahead and say your comment, and then Kevin, I'll get right to you next. Andrew, if you can keep it brief, we do have a time limit.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I've been to Chinatown in several different states. And what impresses me is there is the expression of heritage, but they're not different country flags flying. I've never seen the, Republic of China flag or any others flying. And I think that's where this is a step beyond just a cultural area.
Right. Go ahead, Kevin.
Does Dearborn, Michigan have any policies and or laws which are written in a way which is not of an American origin? Do they have Sharia-based policies and or laws? I'm curious.
I'm Andrew, if you want to maybe pull something up, if you can find something. I never want to allude to something that I don't know, so I can't say yes or no, but I believe I believe. No, I don't even want to touch that, Kevin, because I don't want to I do not want to spread bad information.
Neither do I. That's why I'm questioning it, posing it as a question, not as a statement.
Sure. I don't know.
I have that information in the share screen for you that you asked for.
Okay. Go ahead and you can share your screen. And Brick, can you just explain what we're looking at here?
I can present, or you. Okay, there you go. Okay, essentially, and this is of course a cursory search. If I scroll up here, it says 156,000 to 159,000. So basically 160,000 residents. It says these don't include. For some reason, I'm not pulling up the amount of Palestinian residents, but then I asked specifically how many Palestinian residents of that 160,000, right? So Paterson, New Jersey is estimated to be home between 10 to 20,000 Palestinian Americans. It has the highest concentration of Palestinians of any city in the United States, accounting for nearly 7% of Paterson's total population.
Which let's just say 10 to 20,000. That's a big number, in my opinion, and that is what kind of. That's what kind of irritates me a little bit more about it, because it just seems like they're focusing on one area, in my opinion, and then they're moving outward to potentially start another community somewhere else. And I think in the next 10, 20 years, we're going to see a hell of a lot more like that. I mean, I don't know what the panel thinks, but that's just my depiction.
So
Oh, yeah.
I want. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, like a lot of people feel like in the future that it's gonna be every U.S. town's gonna have like a little something else, not just a little China. You know, like with China, it's like they're they do their little culture, right? In like Chinatown or whatever. But in these areas where it's like little Palestine, it's as if they just want to celebrate their religion and kind of bring their third world asses country over to our over to our non-third world country. You know,
And
that's what it feels like.
I want to say this. I'm going to say this too. If the United States was so bad,
Yep. Why would everybody try to be getting here?
If the United States was so bad, why are people risking their lives to come here?
Exactly. Like you never hear anybody risking their lives to get to Cuba.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll give you, for instance, 2 days ago, they found a boat of I believe they were Haitian.
Yeah.
That was sinking because there were so many people on it trying to come to the United States. And I believe the Coast Guard is the one that found them.
Wow.
But if we were so if our country was so bad, why are people risking their lives to come here?
So
it makes no sense.
I want to bring a portion of commentary to, in my opening, I mentioned that this thing matters, okay? And the reason it matters is for various reasons, but one particular reason as well is that if a city decided that they were going to raise a 1942 German flag on that pole, you'd have people lined up around the block stating why it's wrong and it shouldn't be up there. But it seems as though people are giving a pass to this particular one. And although it's not the exact same problem, it is a problem.
It is a problem.
That's why when I look at it, I say there is a problem here. Now, again, I understand free speech, but just let's take it back to the officer wearing it, right? If an officer were to put a 1942 German flag on his lapel, the officer would be fired. Let's be clear. The officer would be fired. Now, he would actually win a lawsuit if he were to sue. In fact, that actually has occurred where there was an officer, I believe it was a chief, who who had a sign up on his door, an SS, specifically that, and he sued and he won money because he's allowed to do that. However, he got fired and he ain't working there no more. Essentially, the police have their unions, and that's the way that works. Now, why is it that the taxpayers have to pay this guy, right, or suffer through nonsense because, essentially the government has decided among themselves that they now have free speech as well. The government is, I understand the concept behind states' rights. I understand the concept behind home rule. But there has to be limitations to what that means, and here's why. We, as individuals, citizens of the United States, we can't just say anything. Not all speech is free speech under the law, okay? So the government, too, ought be held to accountability when it comes to expression. We are. Why is the government not held to that standard, okay? And like I said, I understand the concept behind it. I'm 1A absolute, right? So what that means is I'm all about the law, right? Your rights being upheld, but not everything you say is covered. Like, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't, slander somebody's name. That's civil, so
Can't
there's
threaten
criminal,
the-
there's civil, right? And those are not, that's not protected speech, right? You can't take your camera and put it up underneath a girl's skirt. That's not a place that's protected press, okay? So
Sure.
everything that is a right, it's not that they're limitations, it's just simply not a right. You don't have a right to do these things, to say these things. That's not covered under the First Amendment, which means that essentially the government too needs restrictions, in my opinion.
Question.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Question. Can you draw an image of Muhammad in the United States without suffering negative recourse?
You'll suffer a negative recourse from the extreme religious about it, but I don't think like the U.S. would come to get you, right?
Yeah,
So the
you can
law-
legally do it, but you might not be able to safely do it.
Yeah,
Sure,
I'm going to
okay.
do it.
So, okay,
I
so
would agree with
currently,
that one.
there is no legal recourse against someone going against a religion's edict regarding depictions of saints, prophets, messengers.
Right.
So
Sure.
currently in the United States, we still have the freedom to do that legally.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
gentlemen,
good.
I just want to say we got about 15 more minutes on this topic, and we are going to go into our next topic. So,
Yeah.
Very good.
go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I have a quick comment and piggybacking off of Clay here as well too. So Clay, what you're kind of telling us is that if you don't like your job, put up an SS sign in your office and walk out the front door with a boatload of cash is what you're saying.
Essentially, yeah, and the taxpayers are paying for it, by the way. Yeah.
This is
I-
not a suggestion.
I
Don't do
want-
it.
Yes,
Don't do this,
and
anybody.
folks, a
Not
little
telling you to do that.
disclaimer: anything that we talk about is not a suggestion for or for you not to do anything.
This
Go
is
ahead.
not legal advice. We're not lawyers.
Neither pro nor against.
And then also, like in high school, I went to a high school that was 40% white, 40% black, and 20% everybody else. And at the lunchroom, everyone predominantly sat by their race and stuff like that. I mean, of course, you had your cliques. The football players sat with the football players. The geeks sat with the geeks. You know, all that kind of stuff kind of happened, but predominantly that's what you saw. So there was one day where they said, no, there's none of this here. They actually put up signs on the tables and they segregated us by our birth month.
Oh shit!
That day, we had to sit like that by that day. They were
Sure.
having us to try to make new friends. It was very interesting.
Did it work at all?
Desegregation, right?
Well, it certainly did not because we didn't like it. It was stupid. Like friends wanted to stay with friends, with people that you assimilate with and you like and stuff. You just want to be. That's just our natural thing to do ultimately. So to expand on this going forward, like if you have a sect of Palestinians, and we were talking last night, well, would you rather them be all in one place or be scattered amongst? And I think the answer is that they want to stick together because that's what they know.
That's natural for humans.
Correct.
Like you were saying. I mean, I hung out at the anime table, and I was in high school in like the early 2000s. So the anime table was like everybody, a little bit of everybody. We had like a jock kid that sat there. We had our goth girl,
Actually, what you guys are talking about right now, I think is very interesting because it draws attention to desegregation, to exactly what occurred in the middle of the 19th century, which I believe Andrew wants me to actually mention a little bit about this particular thing too, because this is actually when I was referring to the home rule, right? And states' rights and that sort of thing. So the Constitution is the law of the land. No judge's decision, no legislation, no executive order supersedes the Constitution. That is where all powers and authorities are derived. And so what that means is that if the states decide, as they did from the later 1800s all the way through to the mid-19th century, that they were going to essentially create an environment that discriminated, right? That is not constitutional. That 14th Amendment covered that. That was an amended portion of the Constitution after the Civil War. Those civil rights were written into the Constitution, and with that into the U.S. Code, and thus the law was born. And the states that did not want to assimilate to the Constitution, the federal government came into those states and enforced the Constitution. Okay. And so it works the same with the home rule. So if it's just one city, this is what will take place. It's actually, so Albuquerque, you guys might not know this, but Albuquerque was under federal oversight for years, up until like a year or two ago. Okay. And so they just left like a year or two ago. And since the federal government left, there's been some unconstitutional ordinances, in my opinion. It's bordering on. It's like they're writing it just up against the wall of our rights. And then also with their actions, you can see that they are creating an environment that will be conducive to violating our rights. So what has to happen at that point is either the citizens hold them accountable, right? By one, talking about it, pressing about it, as we're doing here, we're talking about this issue in Patterson, or take them to the court, petition, right? And then the other option is that the federal government would get involved, but they just left. You wouldn't expect that they would be going back to their old ways so quickly. But to be quite honest with you, they are. Okay. And that is what we are seeing, in my opinion, with this home rule. You can have your home rule. You can have your cultural identity, but it needs to be within the law, right? So your policies, your governmental policies, in essence, your administrative code, your policies are law, but law for the government, what they must do in their jobs, their duties, their responsibilities. So if they break those, essentially they are breaking the law. I know it's not an actual law broken, but in the policies, I guarantee you, in every police station, there's going to be a particular policies that it's going to say you must follow all laws of the state and the U.S. and all of your state's constitution and the U.S. Constitution, right? So all of those powers, all of those authorities are derived specifically from the Constitution. The Constitution is the law of the land. Your thoughts, your ideas are not. Their laws, the U.S. Code is not. The legislation, the court cases, the executive orders, it's the Constitution, and that's it. Okay, so if it's not derived underneath that, it's not a law, right? And it must be written too.
Well, let me just, I have another picture pulled up here, and Kevin, please put your comment out. And I want to show this next picture, and it's on the topic of flags. So go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you. Note on the Constitution. I agree with everything you just said, Clay. And you are Clay, not just brick, correct? Like, right? Okay, so good. I agree.
That's me.
And fantastic. And at the same time, these democratic socialists, and communists are, especially the radicalized ones, are using our Constitution to bring down our Constitution. And they've got academics, they've got attorneys, they've got legal background, they've got authors and artists who are putting out there to different generations, meeting them where they're at and filling their minds full of unproductive, well, productive if you want to be dependent, if you really want to be like a mindless drone for the rest of your life, absolutely productive. I myself, I like making my own fate, And I'm not about this. I want the Constitution of this country to remain intact. And there are people out there who are trying to dismantle it, which would make way for a new government. And it would be Islam, because like I was saying before, the clerics and the imams are not just going to go, oh, thanks for helping us get in. They'd be like, okay. You know, it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
They got to hang the people that got them in.
kind of
Well,
piggyback off of that real quick. The Christians, the Taoists, the Buddhists, the atheists, they don't seem to have a problem with our laws. They don't.
Yeah, like a lot of Chinese folk are Christian. They have that religion already.
Yeah,
when they come over to the U.S.
But there are particular ideologies that just don't jive, if you will, with the idea of all men are created equal. It just, that's the reality of things. Unfortunately, not the Constitution ain't for everybody. Being a U.S. citizen ain't for everybody, right? That's just the reality of things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show this picture. Yeah. The Fago. We need some Fago.
Picked up the wrong one at first. At first it was this one.
Oh Lord, we don't want that.
I had to switch it back out. You guys got to join the Church of the Dark Carnival. That would fix it.
It would, wouldn't it? I want to show this. I want to show this picture, and I want to spend about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to go into a topic on and why I ask our fabulous, classy Kevin to come into tonight's episode, because he's fortunately well versed in the next topic that's going on.
Oh man, he looks
Surprise,
like he's so
Kevin.
ready.
Surprise, Kevin. Is America in distress? Is America in distress?
Man, I wanted to do that during the last administration. My progressive husband was like, don't do that, because then people come to the house and they'll give us problems because America's not distressed. I was like, yeah, it is. We didn't take it to, but I was gonna turn both of our flags on the garage upside down. But is it in distress right now? I guess if you're really anti-American, I suppose.
Clay, or excuse me, Trippy.
Yeah.
Is America in distress right now?
It depends on who you look at. Like, we got a bunch of loonies and a bunch of ass clowns, people that are, mentally deficient, that are running around going, hey, America's German. But it's like, nah, our country itself is standing strongly. I feel like, yeah, dude, like, I feel like there should be asylums. I feel like we should bring the asylums back. We can put people like Clay in there. Wait, no, never mind.
Make asylums great again.
Cool. Yeah. Like, put anybody in there that doesn't own an American flag.
Take me to my room.
Let's go to your safe space, Clay. What do you think? Is America really in distress right now?
So I want to just kind of comment on what this picture really is. This is an individual, okay? This isn't the government turning the flag upside down and showing the country is in distress. Now, this individual has 100% the right to express his views. I think that if his view is that the country is under distress right now, then I think that it's wise for him to do what he's doing right there. It's the same concept, in my opinion, with burning a flag, right? So if it's an individual, right, and it's done in a respectful way and for a actual purpose, these things are necessary. And for this individual, I would say if he's got it, doing it, then yes, I would say that he probably really believes it. I don't believe it is right now. There was a time when I felt that way. Yeah, and there's probably going to be more times in my life where I will feel that way. And I may turn the flag upside down, or I may need to express myself in a reasonable fashion. But do I believe it is right now? No.
Andrew,
Well, without caption and without context for the picture, I don't see that the person's doing anything wrong. Again, it's an individual expression, and we have to protect speech even when we don't like it or messages we may not agree with. So, to be honest with you, I have no problems with that without any other context.
Well, Kevin, do you have any further thought?
I will say this. I will say this. I see America as having been wounded, and currently America is healing, and the healing process is not comfortable. So there is a certain amount of distress I can observe, and it's because America at some point was infected with a pathogen which was un-American, and that infection took hold in some of our communities. And now we're done with the tolerance aspect of it, because before it was like, okay, maybe you're just going through a phase. I remember that phrase all too often. Anyway, maybe you're just going through a phase. It turns out that some of these people weren't going through a phase. They were really just un-American, just through and through, and just intolerant of anything that was about individual success and that didn't lift everyone up in some unrealistic Pollyanna fantasy universe. I'm just gonna leave it there. Otherwise, I could go on a ramble. I could literally go on a ramble.
For the win, any thoughts on that picture?
Yeah. It's kind of like that thing about projection. You know, like the gentleman in the picture certainly looks left-leaning. And if anything, I think the ones that are in distress are the Democrat Party. Dave MC on Pilled says the ones in distress are the Democrat Party, rhinos, and the deep state. So by projection, I think this gentleman is seeing exactly what he's seeing, that we're witnessing the end of the Democratic Party. Absolutely.
I can agree with that. Like, they're the ones that are flipping the fudge out, you know, and their little people are getting on building tops and trying to take the other side out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, to be fair, that's not the Democratic Party, though. To be
It's
fair,
the Democratic Socialists of America. We know.
Sorry.
Now, guys, I know you're laughing or anything like that. I'm saying this. It's very important to be very specific with your words.
It's the extremists. Yeah.
The extremists, yes.
Yes. And then the extremists on any side are bad
on both
people.
sides. Yeah, on both
On
sides.
any side, like left, down, upright, whatever.
Yes,
sir.
Right.
They're the scary ones.
You know, I think we need a little example, and I have the example, of course I do, of extremists.
Ooh.
I have that example.
Wait for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, take your Viagra already and get it up. I mean, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing dirty.
No, you didn't. Here is an example of extremists.
Are they the cops? Are the cops the extremists?
No. Here. Where do you think I got that picture from?
This exact relic.
Wow. Nice.
Huh.
I don't
What
know
are
why
they
the
protesting?
police are there, because I was paying attention to the
you,
chat.
you see it? You hear it? Trippy, ask the question again.
What are they protesting exactly?
Isn't that what the question I always ask? It's always so difficult to see what their message is.
Like, I'm thinking, like, are they protesting the rain?
Well, it was funny while we were talking about the other thing. I've got 6 screens with 9 other things going at the time, right? And I love it. I love interacting with the chat, and I love interacting with the panelists and everything like that. But excuse me, a rainstorm is hitting Newark, New Jersey right now, and it was absolutely hilarious as it was catching my attention to my left here, that all of the tents and the pop-up tents that they brought out there with their supplies under were just blowing all over the street. It was absolutely hilarious. And what this is, the ICE protests in Newark, New Jersey. That what I
Oh,
was
wow.
just showing you.
Why in Newark?
Because they have what's called Delaney Hall,
Delaney
which is a hub for a 5-state region, or the 5-state region around New Jersey. And about 14 days ago, I guess there were letters sent to a coalition, because you can't call them an activist agency anymore because they say that's racist and fascist. Yeah, I know.
Well, I know this might not be popular on this panel, but I've also protested ICE. But I want to be specific why I did. And that was because in Phoenix or Tempe, Arizona, they were breaking the domicile or the sanctuary of the church.
Sure.
Tempe.
And that is a good reason. In my opinion, that is a good reason. But what they got a letter, one letter that said that all of us in the detainment facility are on a hunger strike. They are being served food with worms in it, and the milk that they were forced to drink was 30 days expired. Now, after I say this statement, we're going to move on to the final topic of the evening. Here's the problem with all of this. One letter sparked chaos. One. And number two, a criminal will do anything and anything to get attention, whether it's good attention or bad attention. There have been many reports by the facility, which is, I believe, Echo Group, that owns 1,500 plus of these facilities.
Geo Group.
I'm sorry. Thank you,
Yeah.
Clay. Geo Group that owns 1,500, and I think I brought that up before last week, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I don't believe that they are making people drink 30-day expired milk. I highly doubt that they are making these detainees eat food that have worms in it. And I would not be hesitant to say that the hunger strike, quote unquote hunger strike, that they claim they're on is not a cry for attention from the outside world. And they got it because that's what they wanted. I don't believe it. It's like I reference this quote. A pet might not eat for a couple days, maybe a week, but they're sure as hell going to get hungry enough. They're going to come and eat.
Oh yeah. Eat your face.
So the outrage is not because of the hunger strike. The outrage is the claim of we're feeding them food with worms in it and 30-day-old milk.
Yeah. And I want to kind of comment real quick about this. So
yes,
because I've been to these places, I've been in these places.
Yes, please.
And I do know exactly what you're saying. Yes, this is 100% true that prisoners 100% do things to try to get attention, not just from the outside, but also from other people in there, whether it's other prisoners or guards themselves, right? So they do this, the staff, they'll do anything and everything to get attention. It's just, it's almost like, because I've been in these places, but at the same time, like, I don't want to let it be confused. I'm about rights, being upheld even when you are in custody. That's 100% true. I think you should have your rights retained that you have, the ones that you have, the ones that you still have. That's not it's not like I'm advocating or Spin's advocating for not upholding someone's rights when they're in custody that they have. But when it comes to the food thing, I 100% understand what you're saying. It's absolutely true that if one person, got a bad milk, then the whole dorm goes crazy all of a sudden. No, we all got to check it, and I've seen it in action. These guys start checking everybody's food, saying, yeah, if you got something, we're finna, go on strike or whatever. That is absolutely something that happens in those places. And they do it for attention. And if they handle it the proper way, there's a grievance procedure for these things. If they handle it the proper way, things usually get corrected. If you're a model inmate, they handle you a whole lot better than a shitty inmate too. And I'm not advocating that any inmate or prisoner get harmed, but I tell you what, they will drag you off to the hole. They will. Mm-hmm. And so understand that what Spin's saying is 100% true, that these guys do it for attention all the time. I've seen it. I've seen it so many times. Typically, when I'm around that, or when I've been around that in the past, I should say, I've stayed in my cell. I've never gone out and roamed around while that's going on. It's just like, okay, you guys are gonna go ham. Think of Con Air, the movie Con Air. He's laying in his bunk, everything's going off. No, I'm doing my time. I'm doing my time. You do something, I'm gonna do my time.
So I want to move on to the last topic. We've got about 45 minutes. We got about 40 minutes left of the show. Kevin, if you'd like to respond to that, please keep it to a limited time.
Very quick. I confession time. I'm evil. I want a video game with inmates, and I want to see platters of food. Some are spoiled, some are not. You have to get them to the inmates, or the inmates complain, and then they get sent to the hole. I want a whole video game series made with this. I'm done. I'm a terrible person. Yeah. I'm a capitalist.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. According to some reports that I have read, and I've been told, if you want to do that, you just go to prison in California. They've got tablets for the guys. They've got internet access. They've got all this stuff. And
TVs, tablets. You know what they should do? They should make that a segment of a game, Kevin, of GTA, where you get arrested. Yeah. You got to go through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait a minute. They have TVs for these people. I'm probably sure that that one could probably get a PS5 in there somehow, as long as it's through security, gets through security or whatever. But
all right.
And your health gets better
right here.
And Kevin,
documented right here. Oh, sorry. Yes.
And your health gets better by smoking cigarettes, like in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm
about to.
I want to clarify one other thing. Okay. I've been to about a dozen facilities, probably more. Okay. I've been to over a dozen facilities, and I've never had a single guard ever yell at me. Now, I've had them raise their voices at everybody, and I've never had a single one put their hands on me. So for people who think, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, I've been to many places, and I've never had a problem. Because I operate in a different way. I operate in a different manner. I'm not sucking their toes, but I'm minding my business. Just to clarify that.
Right. Gentlemen, I appreciate, I know I went a little bit longer, but we were having good conversation, and obviously, this last topic of the evening is a very, how do you say it, Clay? It's very sensitive.
It is sensitive.
Yes, it is sensitive. And we have to be mindful of our viewers and the platforms that we are streaming to. So please be mindful of that. Kevin, Kevin, I'm going to put you up here on top. Never mind. I'm not even going to say anything more from that. United States veterans get 1 day.
Yes.
1 day.
Yes.
Why would we give 1 day to the people that fought for this country and the very flag that represents this country? And why? But why does the LGBTQAI plus 123 HDMI community need a month?
The community does not need a month. We used to only have 1 day for the GLBT, and we did not have corporate backing back then. And then corporations came in along with will and grace and popularized the whole idea of having the non-heteronormative lifestyle and made it go mainstream. And we lost our community due to it. And then yeah, I can say this, damn it, because it is allowed. We let the queer people into our communities, and that is not censored because they use it themselves and it's promoted. So
right,
we let people who were not necessarily gay into our communities, which garnered more corporate backing and more corporate attention, which expanded it from a day to a weekend to a week to a month. And they made our community into a commodity. And now the people who are left in the spaces are mainly made up of the queer community, which is not the gay community, and it's not the transsexual community,
right,
and it's not the bi community. It's a bunch of people who have gone off so deviated from what our community originally was. And that is why they have a whole month, because they don't know when to stop. And it was a huge mistake for our community to have ever let them into our spaces, because we felt sorry for them, because at the time we felt marginalized. Even though if I could, I would go back to it, because I'll tell you what, being gay back then meant that you had a high intellect. You had high fashion. You were an artist. You knew how to take care of your body. Every move was freaking graceful. You didn't do anything with the kids. The kids were completely off limits. And if any of our brothers and sisters were ever found to have transgressed any innocence in a child, our community took care of it. And you might have heard about it on the news, but it sure as heck wasn't coming from a redneck in a pickup truck, let me tell you. We took care of that stuff in our city alleys. Am I admitting something? Absolutely. Because there's no shame in what we did, because we were taking out the trash.
You know what, Kevin, and I love everything that you said, and thank you for being who you are. And this is a very sensitive subject to most, if not a lot, of people. The reason I bring this up is not because it's Pride Month. And if anybody out there watching, happy Pride Month. Do you? We're going to do us. I don't have a problem with that community in its entirety, right? And I really don't have a problem, other than I feel that our veterans, and Andrew, I think you're a veteran, are you not?
Yeah,
Andrew's a veteran, and we should celebrate our veterans more than a community. And I don't want to sound that I have hate towards them, because I don't. I really don't. But I think the precedent here, and Andrew, I want to tap you into this comment because you are a veteran, and thank you for your service. We would not be free without your service. And that goes for anybody, previous, past, prior, current military. We would not know what freedom is if we didn't have people that are serving in the military.
Well, I think it's not in the nature of the veterans to even accept a month for it.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Andrew.
I don't think it's in the nature of many veterans that I know to even accept a month. We signed up. We knew what the risk was. We knew what the price could be. We did what we needed to do, and we did it with and for other people and for our families. So amongst each other, we give each other the recognition, but national recognition, I would be against a whole month, to be entirely honest.
Well, and I guess that's what I guess, Andrew, I guess, Andrew, that's what I'm alluding to, right? We don't need, I apologize. There was a chat that came in. I don't feel, and I don't believe that a celebration should be a month long when we have people that have served our country. We have people that have lost their lives for this country. Yeah, I mean, and I want to clue in. I want to key in all the panel as well, but I thought, and please forgive me. I know, Andrew, I know at one point you said you were a veteran, but I wanted to clarify before I called you out and say, oh no, make me look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But I just feel things have taken, or certain things have taken more precedent over the founding fathers and people that have served this country. And I think it's lunacy. I think that people, I think we need to focus on why we are the greatest country in the world. And I feel we need to celebrate that. And not to even mention in less than 30 days, the United States of America is going to celebrate 250 years.
Right.
And you know what? That is a big milestone. Our Constitution is 250 years old, if I'm not correct, Mr. Brick.
The Declaration.
The Declaration, that's right. I apologize.
Which I consider a legal document. I say it's a legal document. It's legal on the international stage. Come and take it.
Absolutely. So 250 years ago, we became this great nation.
Sure. But I think, but for at least the last 50 or 60 years, our students have not been learning civics. They don't learn how different this experiment and that with the Federalist Republic really was. Especially since Vietnam, there have been some things that Americans don't believe in or don't understand. And rather than take it out on politicians, they disengage from the image of what the freedoms are, which I think really hurts people, because if you embrace the freedoms, if you're truly walking in freedom, you recognize that the country's made some mistakes. Some people have made disastrous mistakes. There have been downright treasonous behaviors over that time, but still, with the Declaration and the Constitution, it's a system strong enough to endure that. But I think far too many people have just pointed the finger and said, you're doing wrong, while they get to sit back and not have to do anything right at all. All they need to do is complain. They get their platforms. They get to, be the big man or little person on campus or whatever it is. And they seem so cool, but they don't have to do anything. They didn't have to shed their blood. They didn't have to watch their ancestors die. They didn't watch our soldiers and men and women in uniform literally die to save our enemies. But they would rather complain about the political disagreements that they have now instead of using the system. So, a pox on their house.
And to add on to that, I have noticed that on top of what Andrew just said, they use this really, really weird, cheap carnival freaking gifting. What do I want to say? Reward system, where as long as you're on the right side, you get these pearls, even though the pearls are made of glass and are as fragile enough to be crushed under the ridge of a teacup. They look nice, shiny, and sparkly, and somehow people are bought off with garbage. And then bad behavior is rewarded with more garbage, but it's sparkly garbage.
I think that's the longer mindset. Even with New York City's election, apparently there were promises made that can't be kept. And I believe Noam Chomsky is known for calling us the United States of amnesia. We just allow ourselves to not learn the lessons of Smedley Butler, but in the same voice, we're not using the mechanisms that are laid out in the Constitution for us to take control. I mean, we are in control. We just believe that these other units that are more organized are the ones in control. We're still in control.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Trippy, and for the win, we haven't heard from you guys in a few minutes. Do you have any thoughts on what we're talking about? Trippy, you can go first, sir.
No, not particularly right now. Sorry about that.
For the win?
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback off of what exactly Andrew said, actually, where for the vets, we have federal holidays recognizing their service with it. For Pride Month, there is no federal anything of anything of anything. They just created and said, hey, this is our month, and that's what they did, And like Andrew said, I think he's right, where if you were to give a whole month, I don't think many vets would be for it or anything, because it's one day. That is the meaning of that one day. It means something at that point. If you have a whole month dedicated to that, I mean, it loses its luster over 30 days and such like that. You just, like when you have a specific day and you do that every single year, it's a day for that to be recognized.
Sure. Now let me ask Kevin this, because I hate to say this, but he would know more than I would. Would you think this month and the propaganda and the whole month is capitalized on with flags and gear and would you think there's any capitalism in it from that community?
Oh, if you mean traditional capitalism of supply and demand and such from that community?
Yeah.
There is some capitalism going on there. And at the same time, it's predatory capitalism. Sure. It's not the kind of capitalism it's not my version of traditional capitalism, which is like there's a natural demand, so then you meet the demand with a supply and everything. No, this is promoted. So it's like it's oh gosh, how do I even explain it? It's completely, well, now I know how to explain it. It's completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. There is no reason to have this amount of marketing for someone's sexuality. There is no reason, because it used to be an organic thing that we did as a community within our communities. It was never supposed to be a national in your face. And like I said before, it was never supposed to involve the kids. So I see this as highly predatory. I see
Well,
this as highly immoral. And I have done very immoral things in the shadows. And that's where it was supposed to stay, was in the freaking shadows, because that's where you make your shekels, is in the shadows with that shiny ass disco ball going.
well,
Yeah.
let me tell you, since you brought up children, and I do not want to spend any time doing that.
Right.
I was asked by local media to go just take a camera down and do some what's called B-roll of
I
stuff
know what
and the
B-roll is.
festivity and the festivities were. And it was in a park in St. Petersburg, Florida. And obviously I had the proper I had the proper credentials, and I said, I'm just here to take some B-roll footage of this. You know, they wouldn't let me in the park.
And was it because you were going to document the B-roll and get a bunch of sauce? Is that why?
It might have been. It might have been. And you know, I said, okay, I'm not going to argue with them. You know, but but it's like they want to. It's like the protests. I'm going to take it right back to protests for a second. And Andrew, I know you're laughing, but I'm going to go right back to the protests. Everybody gets scared when a camera shows up. A really good camera, that is.
You know, I do security at pride parades and stuff, and I will give a second
of that.
But I will give a second that the vast majority of those things, they're not, you don't see kids there. You don't see the ones that I'm doing security at. I didn't say that there aren't any that don't have that. I didn't say any of that, did I? Nope.
No.
But and so I provide security because that's a First Amendment right.
Sure.
And I want everybody to be safe. But the second part that I found about it is where I've seen that done well, there's a groundswell of the local community. It's not with nationwide politics with other agendas.
Sure. Well, the ironic thing to this is when the camera shows up, everybody gets nervous. When the camera shows up, all of a sudden, they don't want their message put out there.
You know what? That is interesting. Small town pride and stuff.
And Spen, what's also really interesting about this is that it's almost like identity politics. Whereas of the four major sports, the Texas Ranger baseball team is the only team that does not recognize Pride Month out of the four major. It's amazing. So when you think about it from an identity standpoint, the left certainly takes this and runs with it and says, for this, and the other side doesn't simply do that, you know? So it creates this illusion of like, well, we're the party that, you know, is for all and such like that and whatnot. Are you not for all of us? So it kind of gives this backwards illusion as to who these people are.
And you know, I want to bring our co-host in here. He can probably talk about the camera showing up and the optics change just a little bit. And you know, it's funny. We were talking, we were on a panel, and Clay texts me, "You still up? I want to talk to you a minute." Sure. So I called him, and he was talking about a situation that happens every Friday and Saturday night in his state and in his town. Yep. And it's fucking ironic.
That's right. It's so wild every single time. And then you know, like when someone sees a camera one of two things happen. Either, and there's two different types of people too. The one that doesn't mind the camera or likes the camera, perks up. What's up, man? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I love you.
Right.
And then there's the other type of person who might be doing a little something he ain't supposed to be doing. He don't perk up. He becomes combative. He becomes irritated. And that happens a lot with people with perceived authority. And some people with authority too. But when it's someone with perceived authority, sure. You want to think it's funny, but it's not funny, because essentially at that point they begin to start committing crimes or trying to hide it away, or like, but the fact of the matter is that they are doing something wrong. And as soon as that camera shows up, you start seeing some chaos. You start seeing some running around, and then you know there's the people who don't care, or the people who love the camera, of course, and they don't have no problem with it, right? So you got the two sides there, and it's just absolutely fascinating to me to see that, being in this this profession of press. Like, I haven't been doing it long, couple years now, and I've learned a lot of things about where I could and couldn't go, where I should and shouldn't go. And one of the things that always fascinates me is the people's reactions. And when I'm saying that, I mean the ones who are doing the things they're not supposed to be doing. It is just absolutely fascinating.
And it just mind boggles me how people can say, "Oh, you're right-wing media." How do you know that? When you don't talk to these people, you don't associate with them. Is it just because I've got a bigger camera than their little cell phone? I mean, but back on topic. I mean, look, whatever you do behind closed doors is your business. Okay? Whatever club or bar you want to go to is your business. And the reason I'm bringing this up tonight is, of course, me, the protest king of the internet. There was, yeah, I know. I was called that the other day, the protest king of the internet, or of YouTube, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I laughed for about 5 minutes after that one. There was a protest in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it was of like-minded people on the female side. And it was and it had a very, very awkward name that I cannot say because it is a TOS word.
Can you say it in Pic Latin?
Maybe. Here, Kevin, in the back
or
chat.
At least write it. Yeah, just write it in the back chat, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, everybody look at the back chat.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't say that word.
The ladies of Holland. The ladies of Holland.
Ladies of Holland.
Yes.
And they were protesting. There was probably 300 to 400 of these ladies. I saw some questionable ones, but that's beside the point.
Were they ladies or were they
I'll put it this way. I saw a mixture. Okay.
Okay.
And then it was that word on bikes. They were there. And then
Of course they were.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Yes.
they were there. And you know what their message was? It had nothing to do with LGBTQAI plus 1, 2, 3 HTMI day or month.
Because it was about U-Haul. That's what it was about. It was about promoting U-Haul. And
they're
Home
promoting
Depot.
U-Haul. Oh, yes, you were on that panel. Yes, they had a float with U-Haul.
I am in that life. I know these women. They're all about U-Haul and Home Depot. This is what they do. That and drywall.
Diesels.
Okay, go on.
But do you know what their message was today?
Go on. Okay.
Free Palestine.
Oh, Lordy, help us.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. It went on for 4.5 hours.
They have to know.
No.
They were being ironic.
If I could show yes, Andrew. Oh yeah, big ones. Trust me. If we were not on on the platforms we are on, I would be able to assimilate what I really want to say, right? But here's the ironic part.
Yes.
They said at the beginning of this, because I got notifications from about 30 people that this was about to happen. And of course, the protest king of YouTube and whatever else had to get his dead ass out of bed and at least turn it on so I could see what it was about. And it was the Palestinian flags. It was the Mexican flags. Then I saw a couple F-ice. Then I saw the biggest pride flag, which was probably about 1.5 blocks long.
Yeah.
Going down the street. And I'm just like, the first thing I want to know, how the fuck did they get a flag that freaking big? Okay. And number two, who fucking paid for it? Right? And then it had nothing to do with the month that we're in, Pride Month. It was about free Palestine and ICE and whose streets? That word streets. That's what they chanted for 7 blocks. I counted them.
Yeah.
7 blocks. And then they come back to the park where they originally started from. By the way, there was more police around them than I've seen around a group of protesters in my life.
Well, they're very aggressive.
It actually made Newark, New Jersey police look bad. Okay.
Yeah, because they bite. They bite too. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Well, hey, whatever defense mechanism they want to use, whatever. But my point is, everything is shifted around stuff that .300 ladies are not going to change. And the circular, the circulus here is this. It's Pride Month. Okay, you got a bunch of ladies out in the middle of the street chanting many things that I cannot say. For what reason?
They're getting it. Well, it's just they're getting their yayas out. I mean, if you know, really, they are just
yayas out wherever, Kevin.
They've got a lot of yayas. They've got a lot of yayas. I mean, I have had so many run-ins with them, and they are a hoot and crazy. And
listen, I have no problems with these people.
Yeah.
Until I have no problems with that community, until it is taken to an absolute extreme. Okay, look, I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. Before I got hurt, we had something called drag queen bingo.
Uh-huh.
And you know, they thought it was a really good idea to pay one of, as they called themselves, the sisters, to come up and harass me. They thought it was a really good idea.
So you had a drag nun giving you the business.
They were, I will not describe it, but it was funny. It was more funny than it was. And what they wanted is to see my reaction. And my reaction was, okay, so what? You know, you're a dude in a dress. Okay, well, I mean, it wasn't that I was trying to pick on them. I never said that I was for or against it. Because listen, and here goes to the positive message of the show.
Wait, yeah?
You are who you are. I'm not here to judge you.
Spin.
Although there are some people that I would love to judge and tell them exactly how I feel, which I've never done, Clay. I've never
you don't.
done
You don't do that. No, you reserve yourself, sir.
Absolutely. So the positive message of this show and the panelist is we're here for a discussion.
Yes.
We are here to talk about topics, and I have structured the show as such. Yeah, sometimes we're not always going to agree. Sometimes we're not all we're going to get into a little bit of a heated conversation. But we're here because we want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here because we have true love for America in some sort of way.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the day, we're all human. We all are entitled to our own opinion, and we're all individuals.
Did I have a stroke, or were you not telling a story about being with a drag nun during bingo?
Absolutely.
Did I miss something?
No, you didn't.
So you didn't give the drag nun the reaction the drag nun was hoping for, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And were you just like neutral about it?
Yeah.
Did the drag nun get upset by this?
No, the person that paid the person got upset because they what they thought was going to happen didn't happen.
Okay.
I
So that drama,
so
some drama queen paid a guy who tucked and duct taped. And probably was this anywhere from June to July and August? I mean, June to July in Florida. Was this anytime during the so it's hot, it's humid. Some drama queen pays some guy in a habit to go, it was tucked up and like got the duct tape going on and stuff like that.
Whatever.
To go and like pay to molest you at a bar. Is that what I'm understanding?
It wasn't a bar, it was a social club, and it was a fundraiser. That was the reason that they were there. Okay.
And all right. And yes, I do have love for this country. Absolutely. I am so sorry that drama queen gave you the hassle.
But it was funny. But it was funny.
Oh, now it's funny.
Now it's funny. Then I laughed. I looked at and the irony was I looked at that person and I said, who paid you to do this?
Yeah.
And that person put his finger out and said, her. And I'm like, and I turned around, I said, didn't get the reaction you wanted, did you? And she didn't talk. That person did not talk to me for a week. Not about 1 week. Because they assumed that I was a very prejudicial person, and I'm not.
Yeah. So am I to understand that you busted a queen misreading your beads
Yes, I
in
did.
front of others? So
Yes.
there were witnesses to this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I have pictures
I can
of them.
see why.
I have
That had to
pictures
have
of
been so embarrassing. Oh my
It was
gosh.
embarrassing. It was embarrassing for them, not
Yes,
me.
I imagine. Yes, I
It was,
imagine.
but it was funny.
Okay.
It was
Well,
fun.
do these people
I
love
have
this
another-
country too?
Sure, go ahead, Andrew.
I have another funny one, but this one is
And we've
along
got
the
about
line
5
of
minutes left of the show, so
thing in the life. I've got a lot of friends in the life and everything, and my neighbor was a lesbian, and so what we would do is we'd go to this gay bar and play pool. And then so after a few drinks and everything, everybody's getting loose, she would just raise her voice and say, "Oh, I'm a lesbian." And then what everybody in the bar would do is just look over at me, focus in, and that was embarrassing. But you know what? It was awesome and it was fun. There are a lot of fun people in the community, and I think with things being set apart from each other, it's easy to just not hear how everybody is a human. You know, you got all these other things, and I think that a lot of people in the protest movement remind me of a Rolling Stones song where they say, "I went down to the demonstration to get my fair share of abuse."
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it's about, instead of having a voice for a particular cause or a voice for people.
well, and listen, there is nothing wrong with somebody having a voice. It's freedom of speech, freedom of expression, whatever you want to call it. And again, I have to reiterate, I have no problems with what they want to do in life. It's not for me to judge. It's not for me to single you out and say, "Hey, you're doing something bad." Because in their own mind, there's nothing wrong with it. So why should I? Gentlemen, I'm going to say, I want to, well, first of all, Kevin, thank you very much for coming at the last minute. I much appreciate it. Andrew, thank you for coming and contributing. Mr. Trippy Cast. Mr. Trippy Cast.
Spin. Sorry, I haven't been talking very much.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We'll have you back. Let everybody know where to find the Trippy Cast.
Well, this is youtube.com/TrippyCast. I usually do that, and I rumble at the same time when I do that. And
is it Trippy Cast over on Rumble?
Yeah, it's TrippyCast on Rumble and YouTube. And yeah, I do Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We do movie nights on Sunday. I think this Sunday is Race with the Devil from 1970 something. It's got Peter Fonda in it. I know that.
Okay, we'll have to have some us come over and check it out there, Trippy.
Hell yeah,
Trippy! Thank you for coming this evening. The ICP and the Fago is good, and I laugh every time I see it because I know the reference to it.
I really like the clown horn.
There it is. There it is. I think Brick needs a frying pan. He's been slacking on his duties. Can you help me out with the frying pan?
I just got to turn it into that.
Oh,
he got knocked out. He got knocked out. He's okay.
What happened? Just woke up.
Did you see the stars, Mr. Brick? Did you see the stars?
Bird tweet getting all tweet up in there.
Not the first
now
time.
we just need something to cover his eyes with the circles in there like he's unconscious.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That was the wrong guy. That was the wrong guy to hit with a frying pan. Clay's gonna write up a complaint now and file it.
You gotta see HR. So just
I
go to
know
YouTube support, and talk to YouTube support's AI, and then they'll tell you how you weren't really hit with a frying pan.
We don't need those problems, sir.
Yeah, and then their AI will check to make sure that AI's work is correct, and then the AI will AI you.
We'll
That's how
we'll,
music works.
we'll iron it out.
There you go.
Yep, there you go. Andrew Barnes, thank you very much, sir. I know you don't have it. I don't know if you have a channel or not. I apologize. But he is also known as Salty Santa. I named him Salty Santa. And you know what? You know what? He has a nice little elf helper over there. I brought her up on one of the panels, and we had fun. We all do this for fun. Kevin's Chaotic Coffee or Fabulous Classy. Kevin, let everybody know where to find you.
I'm on Pilled.
Pilled? Is that the red pill or the blue pill, Kevin?
Oh, it really depends on which one, but I prefer the red pill.
Oh, okay.
I'm only making sport. No. And I'm not creating regular content right now. I'm just sporadic. So it's just Kevin's Coffee on Pilled.net.
Awesome. Thank you for the win. Thank you for coming up. I know you don't have a channel, but you've been an awesome contributor to Spin City News, Sarah the Raging Tomato, and is a known person over on pilled.net. I want to thank you for coming in, sir.
Yep, thank you.
I really appreciate it. And I'm going to put you all in the back. We're going to do our outro. And everybody, if you'll stay in the back, we will say our thank yous and goodbyes. So we're going to put you in the back and do our outro and thoughts on the panel. Clay, thank you again, my friend, for being a loyal customer. No, joking.
I have a lot of fun, man. This is good. I like this, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For even having me, because like I said, this is a lot of fun. The conversations are going very smoothly. I foresee similar, very smooth conversations. It's good. Especially coming over, from Sarah's space. She does such a good job on wrangling the chaos, and then you come over here and kind of just have a nice discussion. That's awesome. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And, thanks to the America Rising Media family, we wouldn't be here without you. And as always, I am Spin City News, also known as the Panelist, and Brick Petitions is the other panelist. Again, sir, thank you for joining the team over here on America Rising Media. Until then, next Saturday, 7 to 9, and we've got a very special guest. He's well known for his antics on panels. Mr. Admiral Gibbs will be joining us next week, and we will have some other panelists, maybe some repeat panelists. We don't know, but we are going to be here. Stay safe, Patriots. I am the Panelist, Spin City News.
Spin City on the screen, he walks in like a spark. Tie little crooked and he lights up the dark. Mic in his hand and the room starts to shake. Every seat got a fighter, every point got a stake. He points, he grins, then the volume goes high. One more hot take and somebody might fly. Hands up, here we go again. Talk real loud, let the chaos begin. Side to side and the truth gets loud. Spin City calls it out. Right there in the crowd, the Panelist on America Rising Media. The Panelist on America, hey, Rising Media. Spin City, spin it hard, yelling at everyone. Spin City, spin it hard, nobody leaves untouched. He leans in close, then he cuts to the chase. A raised eyebrow hit right across his face. One says yes, one says no in a flash. He turns the heat up like he wants it to clash. A finger in the air and the debate goes wild. Every argument sharp, every answer style. He laughs, he swings, then he hands up media. The Panelist on America. Rising media. Spin City, spin it hard. Yelling at everyone. Spin City, spin it hard. Nobody leaves untouched.
America Rising Media. Check us out live on the web. All of our show times for all of our exclusive content and shows. You can check out all the ARM channels and all the America Rising Media podcasters. America Rising Media. And that's not all. You can find all of our exclusive content on all of our platforms linked up as well at the click of a button. You can check out our scheduling, see when our shows are, find out what's going on, get in touch with all of our social media. Changes will be announced on our website or of course on our Telegram, t.me, America Rising. Also support us, independent media, independent patriot media. This is our merch store. Get armed. Peacefully, of course. Thank you for all of your support. You can also find links to all of our videos, Wicked Age, and all their music, exclusively on our website. Sean's videos, my videos, all the exclusive content, and of course, links directly to pill.net, our flagship. Also, Getter, X, Truth Social, all of our social media. We are America Rising Media. You can find us at America Rising